Why did I pay money to stay in a house I already own? Gary thought he was smarter than me. He moved into my rental property 16 months ago with solid references and a firm handshake. First 10 months went fine. Rent arrived on schedule, no complaints from neighbors, no damage reports. Then the payments stopped. Month 1, he claimed his company was restructuring. Month 2, a family medical emergency. By month 3, he stopped returning my calls entirely. 6 months of silence, $12,000 owed. I hired a lawyer and filed for eviction. That's when Gary decided to reveal his true colors. He met me at the door with a grin. Eviction court is backed up 9 months. By the time you get a hearing, I'll have lived rent-free for over a year. Go ahead and file your papers. I'm not going anywhere. He knew the system. He'd done this before. Professional squatter, gaming tenant protection laws, while landlords like me bled money every single day. I consulted 3 different attorneys. Same answer every time. File the paperwork, wait in line, hope for the best. I was losing $2,000 a month while Gary sat in my property laughing. Then fate handed me a gift. I was on Airbnb researching rental rates in my area, scrolling through listings, comparing photos and amenities. A living room caught my attention. Gray sectional couch, blue accent wall, brass light fixture I'd installed myself. That was my apartment. Gary had listed my property on Airbnb for $215 a night. He was renting out my apartment to tourists while refusing to pay me a single dollar in rent. He was profiting from property he didn't own while I struggled to cover the mortgage. My first instinct was rage. I wanted to call the police, confront him, burn everything down metaphorically. Then I took a breath. I started thinking tactically. Illegal subletting was a direct violation of his lease agreement. That voided his tenant protections. But more importantly, it gave me a legal way inside. I created a new Airbnb account. Fake name, fresh email, profile photo of a generic businessman. I crafted a booking request explaining I was in town for a work conference and needed a quiet place to stay. Gary accepted within 2 hours. He sent me a friendly message. Welcome to your home away from home. Door code is 4782. Let yourself in anytime after 2 p.m. Extra towels under the bathroom sink. The man who refused to communicate with me for months was now cheerfully welcoming me as a paying guest. Friday afternoon at 2:15 p.m., I stood outside my own front door. I punched in 4782. The lock clicked open. I walked into my property, not as the landlord Gary had been dodging for half a year, as a guest, legally admitted by the current occupant himself. I moved quickly. I called a locksmith I'd already arranged to be on standby. He arrived in 20 minutes. We changed every lock on every door. New deadbolts, new keypad codes, new everything. Then I packed Gary's belongings. I documented everything carefully. Photographed each item before placing it in boxes and trash bags. Clothes, electronics, personal documents. Nothing damaged, nothing missing. All accounted for. I stacked everything neatly on the front lawn. Then I sat down in my living room and waited. Gary returned around 8 p.m. I watched through the window as he walked up to the front door, punched in his code, and stared at the keypad when nothing happened. He tried again. Same result. He noticed his belongings on the lawn. His face cycled through confusion, concern, and finally rage. He started pounding on the door. I opened it with a smile. Evening, Gary. What the hell is this? You can't do this. I have rights. You had rights. Had. Past tense. Your lease contains a standard clause prohibiting subletting without written landlord consent. You've been running an illegal Airbnb operation for months. That's a material breach. Your lease is terminated. I held up my phone, showing screenshots of his listing, his welcome message, the door code he'd so helpfully provided. You invited me in, Gary, as your guest. I didn't break in. I didn't force entry. You literally sent me the access code yourself. His face went pale. I'll sue you. This is illegal eviction. It's not eviction. You're not a tenant anymore. You voided your own lease the moment you started subletting. You're a trespasser now, and trespassers don't get 9 months of court protection. He sputtered, searching for leverage he didn't have. I'll call the cops. Please do. I'll show them the Airbnb listing where you've been defrauding guests by renting property you don't own. I'm sure they'll be very interested in that conversation. He stood frozen. Your belongings are on the lawn. I suggest collecting them before the sprinklers turn on at 10 p.m. Have a nice night, Gary. I closed the door. Through the window, I watched him load his bags into his car with the desperate speed of a man who'd finally met someone he couldn't con. He drove away. I never heard from him again.